Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking the first musical spotlight that I'm doing on this channel, and it's on the artist known as The Weekend. But before we get into it, I want to thank you for stopping by, and while you're here, if you can do me a favor and hit that red subscribe bar down below, hit all on that notification bell so you never miss a future video. Like, comment, share, do all that beautiful YouTube stuff, because once we hit 25 subscribers, I'm going to be doing my first giveaway. And the only way for you to be involved in that is for you to be a subscriber. So subscribe. I know there's still a few of you out there watching that are not subscribed. I thank you for coming by, but do me that favor and hit that subscribe button. Make this channel grow, and you can be involved in the first channel's giveaway. Road to 25 is still on course. The road to 25 subscribers, which will lead us into our first giveaway. But let's get into the weekend. Literally and figuratively. If the weekend is supposed to be one of the most fun times during the week. All the responsibilities are supposedly done for the week, and it's time to have a good time. But the weekend I'm talking about is not Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Oh, it's the artist known as The Weekend. He was born. I'm going to be looking at some notes here because I can't remember everything. He was born Abel, and I'm really going to maybe not say this name right. Abel Mackinnon Tesfaye. Okay, Abel Mackinnon Tesfaye is his legal name. Born February 16th, 1990. Let's see, he's gotten 3 Grammys, some Billboard Awards, MTV Awards. He's made a comic based off of one of his songs. He has 3 studio songs, 1 LP, 1 compilation, and 3 mixtapes. His albums are Kissland, Beauty Behind the Madness, Starboy, After Hours, and then his 3 mixtapes. The first one coming out they all came out in 2011, and then I believe it was in the next year or two that they collected these 3 mixtapes in a compilation tape called Trilogy. But the first one came out in March called House of Balloons. The second one came out in August called Thursday. And then the last one coming out in December called Stir of Echoes. Echoes of Silence. I'm thinking of Stirs of Echoes, the Kevin Bacon movie. He obviously didn't write that. Echoes of Silence came out in December. Some of his major influences you can tell right off the bat when you hear him talk was Michael Jackson. When he made that song a few years back, I Feel It Coming, I really thought that was originally a Michael Jackson song that was unreleased, and they released it to, so Paris and the brother can make a couple bucks or whatever to, help themselves out, because I'm assuming that's where the money is going off his songs, but I could be wrong about that too. But yeah, some influences on him is definitely Michael Jackson. He's also said that some of his other influences are Missy Elliott, Aaliyah, the Neptunes. If you're not necessarily familiar with the group name Neptunes, it's Pharrell, him, and I forget the producer's name. It's Asian dude. He does like the beats and stuff like that, and I feel bad for not knowing his name because he was just as important to the Neptune sound as Pharrell was. They also, I think, were named or go by the name Nerd, which means no one ever really dies. But let's get back to The Weekend. That was some of his influences. He's done music with Kanye West, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Beyonce, Ed Sheeran. Um, those are some of the more popular names that have been out since he's been out. His family moved from Ethiopia to Canada in the 1980s, to Scarborough, Ontario, Canada. He was raised by his mother and his mother's mother, grandmother, his grandmother, and his mother. His grandmother taught him Aramaic, which is it's a language. I'm assuming it's something from the Middle East. Again, I could be wrong with that. He also knows French and English, obviously. I'm not sure if he knows any other languages or is learning any other languages, but to know 3 languages like that is pretty dope. I'm trying to just see if there's any other information I'm missing. He's not that it really matters how much he's worth, but he's made himself a nice little pocket of money. He's got $100 million between cash and other things. This one stat I'm going to give doesn't sound right, and I can't really find any other information on it, but it says that he's sold 6.2 million albums worldwide, and I'm not sure if that is counting the singles because he's got a lot of singles. Party Monster, The Hills, I Feel It Coming, Starboy, Save Your Tears, Blinding Lights. A lot of these songs are included in the album sales, but I was only able to find 6.2 million for album sales. I don't know if that includes single sales or mixtape sales. That could even be a wrong number, but I can't find the worldwide amount of albums. That seems to be the only number I'm finding is the 6.2 million. The reason why I chose The Weekend as my first musical spotlight, there's a lot of his music that touches me, reaches out of television and touches me. He touched me with his music. He really has touched me with his music. I love my finger snapping and toe tapping just like everyone else. Not saying I'm a bad dancer. I'm just not a trained dancer. You know what I mean? And I don't dance on a regular basis. For me to look like I have a standard routine on deck for dancing, I usually don't. I have good rhythm, though. It's not that I don't have good rhythm. If you're expecting J-Lo dance routines from me, not gonna happen at this stage of my life. But his music really makes me get up and wanna boogie down. You know what I mean? It's really funky. The music. It's really, it's a sound you don't really get too much. And I think he's just so creative in regards to videos that he makes. I think he's so innovative with his lyrics and his look and the subtext that he tries to portray in his videos. And you can really tell the growth in his music. And for those who like the gossip rags and stuff like that, I don't follow celebrity life too much in that regard, unless they say something really ridiculous where I'm like, I don't really want to give them any more attention, because even if, I'm done with their movies or whatever, they would have to really come up with something ridiculous. But in a general sense, I don't really oh, and they married this one, and they're dating this one, and da-da-da. I'm not really into that aspect of celebrity life. It's really not my business what they do. Uh, because if you don't like their music, you can always just change the dial. You know what I mean? You don't have to listen to The Weekend. You don't have to listen to Jay-Z. You don't have to listen to Foreigner. There's always a dial. There's always CDs you can buy and make your own playlist on your iPad or whatever like that. Um, but yeah, as far as that's concerned, though, what I was trying to get at is that if you're interested in his love life, it's something to talk about, I guess. He had a relationship with Selena Gomez, but to my understanding with that, she wound up um, kind of like choosing Justin Bieber, or going with Justin Bieber at the time while she was dating him. Uh, so I don't know if he's really involved with anyone else. Again, it's really kind of not our business if he is, but maybe that was an indication to him to try to keep his love life on the lowdown. Because, I really wouldn't want my life out there too often. Like, if I got into a fight with my wife, I don't want it to be the front page of entertainment news the next day if my wife kicked me out and said, go to the hotel for the night, you bum. I don't want that out in the world like that. Because our arguments are personal, and the same thing with him and any girlfriends that he's had or has, or boyfriends, whatever. I don't want to gender assign anyone, but I like that about him. That he tries to keep his personal life kind of low, because when he even first came out with these mixtapes, he only really interacted with fans via Twitter, and didn't really show his face on any album covers or anything, because he is a shy person by nature, as is what is described to him. It wasn't until his music started reaching worldwide where he was able to more feel free to show his face. Yeah, I love The Weeknd. I love his music. I love his fashion. I love his performances. And you won't get me to say this too much, but if we ever go back to being able to have concerts and public gatherings because of the Cactus 99, he's on my bucket list of current artists to see in concert. Obviously, everyone has a bucket list to see people in concerts. One of mine was the Beatles, but obviously you can't see the Beatles in concert anymore. That's just more of a fantasy. A more realistic concert that I can go to, I would definitely go to a Weekend concert. I would even be willing to spend the extra dough to try to get close. You know what I mean? That's how much of a fan I am. That I'd be willing to spend $1,000 on tickets for me and the missus to go to get really up close and personal. And you wouldn't really catch me saying that about too many artists. Maybe Eminem. That would be on a list of a short list of, yeah, I would do that for that artist. Trying to think of any other artist that I'd maybe do that for. That I would just be like, yeah. Guns N' Roses, if the original lineup for Guns N' Roses got back again together, and was really consolidated on making, if Slash and Axl can squash the beef and become best friends, that would be another group that I'd be willing to see. But yeah, that's why I picked The Weeknd. I just feel like he's got a good past. He's been in a mainstay in music for 10 years now, and I feel like he really hasn't had too many misses. You don't really hear too much of him like being a ridiculous fella out in his public life. Like you don't hear like he's not some sort of music guy that's throwing TVs out of hotels and taking dumps on people's cars. At least it's not reported anyway. Excuse me, indigestion. I'm sorry about that. But I know you catch what I'm saying. You know how some of these actors and entertainers are when they get big and they're not used to that. They get a little wild. But I mean, he hasn't gotten wild to where it's become noticeable. I'm not saying he's not going out and having a few drinks or having some party favors at parties, you know what I mean? Adult party favors. I'm not saying he's not doing that. He may not be doing that. Again, not my business whether he does that or not does that. That's mainly on him to try to balance those type of things out. But sticking with the music and sticking with the actual performances, you're not going to get too much better than The Weekend and the effort he puts in to his creations and his productions. It seems like he has a very heavy hand in all of it, which is great because it brings forth the vision he's looking to do, and I really like I said, I don't think there's been too many misses on his part that I'm kind of like would turn me off from him yet, or at all. Big fan of The Weeknd, and if you haven't really listened to any of his stuff, he's highly recommended. Start with his early stuff and build your way up to 2020, 2021, where The Blinding Lights was on the Billboard charts for quite some time, where it was kind of a big deal he wasn't nominated for any Grammys this time for that song and for that album. It's a shame, but there's plenty of time for him to get more Grammys, more nominations, and if he doesn't, that's not going to matter to me. He's an excellent artist that you need to keep an eye on if you haven't. But as always, thanks for stopping by, guys. And until next time, peace, Snookums.